Hi! Welcome to Rantz with Valkyrie. Ooh! She's super happy to be here today. For those of you noobs that weren't with us for the last show, this is the show where my cat and I sit here, drink, and give you our opinions on the shit we watch. She doesn't really like to sit with me. I just watched Odd Thomas. I wasn't sure what to expect since, it's a movie on Netflix, but figured I'd give it a shot. A lot happens in the beginning of Odd Thomas. First of all, you're immediately introduced to the main character, whose name is actually Odd, and his last name is Thomas, and he sees dead people. Of course he does, right? Because who in movies doesn't see dead people? Then they take it a step further and introduce the fact that he can actually see death before it happens. Doesn't just talk to dead people. Predicts death and also talks to dead people. They add this whole vigilante element where he's friends with the chief of police and he calls himself an underground detective, but it's never really established whether or not he actually works for the police force. I was down for that. I enjoyed that element. But then they take it a step further, and mind you, this is all within probably like the first 10 minutes, maybe 5 of the actual movie. Then you find out that he sees these creatures, which are kind of like demons, I guess. He describes them as being drawn towards violence and death. They crawl around like the people that are evil and whatever. Only certain people can see them. And when they find out that you can see them, they kill you. Cool. It's sci-fi, whatever. I'll go there with you. They're demons, they're creatures, they're mythical, they're mystical, they're fucking whatever. But for a movie that relied so heavily on effects, they really needed to invest more in them, whether that meant investing more time or investing more money. It just literally looked cartoony, like cartoon versions of the creatures from District 9. Cartoon District 9 creatures. There was a really good element of comedy to the movie, although once in a while I did have to kind of cringe because the dialogue seemed like characters are just spouting one-liners at each other back and forth. It only happened a few times, so it's okay. It really helped balance out the dark nature of the story because it was really, it just has really dark subject matter and kind of creepy and takes you to some interesting places. So the comedy definitely helped balance that out, at least when the comedy was in fact effective. One thing I didn't understand is that the entire time they're trying to investigate this mass murder that hasn't occurred yet because he's seen it and he's had this premonition, and every time he goes to investigate a lead, he's on the phone with his girlfriend, who's working at like an ice cream parlor on a Bluetooth talking about like, oh, did you find the ghost? Did you see this? Did you blah, blah, blah. It didn't add anything. I get it was probably supposed to be like cute and quirky, but it literally was just kind of awkward and unnecessary. Kind of like puberty. I don't want to spoil anything about this movie for you, so I will just tell you that it does redeem itself with a crazy twist ending. It actually kind of had me at the edge of my seat there for a minute. However, it did contradict a statement that Odd makes at the beginning of the film about how the dead don't talk. And I'll leave it at that, because literally if I say anything else, it'll ruin everything. Best and worst of the movie. Best performance was Patton Oswalt. He only had a cameo, but it's Patton fucking Oswalt, so the end. Willem Dafoe was the chief of police and was actually the best main character. Worst, Addison Timley, who plays Stormy. Let me tell you, her delivery was flatter than a pancake. She also happens to have one of the worst lines I've ever heard, ever. I mean, it's not her fault, but literally, here's the line.
I'm a woman. We all have issues. It's what keeps us interesting and you men interested.
Oh, yeah?
No. Incorrect. I really needed to get slapped in the face with a little bit of sexism today. Thanks a lot, Addison Timlin. Overall, I thought that this was a good story, but really not much of anything else. The graphics, like I already mentioned, were cartoony. The acting was here and there. I give it 5 paws out of 10, which is, you're holding me and I want to get down, but I kind of like the attention. Coming at you from North Hollywood, I'm ValkyrieSpok. This has been Rants with Valkyrie. Remember to like the video, or don't. I can't decide because this movie just made me feel so ambivalent.